Hi everyone, and welcome to Lesson 6 of IQ Designer and My Design Center. This is being done on a Baby Lock Valiant, but you can also use this information. It is applicable to the Brother 10 needle machine, as well as many of the higher end Brother and Baby Lock single needle machines. Although the screen will not look the same on some of those single needle machines, the principles are the same. All right, so I'm going to go into IQ Designer. If you have a Brother machine, it would be My Design Center. In this lesson, I want to focus on the paintbrush and also the eraser tool and saving a design. So first thing I want to do is select that paintbrush. And when I do that, that will allow me to draw on the screen. Now, how is this different from the pencil tool? Because if I select the pencil tool, I can also draw on the screen. Remember that the pencil tool is a line property and the paintbrush is a region. All right, so the two are kind of similar, but not really. If I go into my paintbrush, I can go into my notepad and I can select the size of my brush. So right here, if I select the large circle and press OK, notice that I can greatly increase the thickness of that paintbrush. And if I go into my notepad again and go into the small dot and press OK, that my paintbrush looks very similar to that line. But just remember that the paintbrush is a region. So when I go into my notepad right here, I can select a line property. For example, the stipple. Select a color if you would like, press OK, and then make sure you touch your paintbrush if you're going to fill a region and just tap that. And there, I accidentally tapped both. Both of them have changed to that stipple fill. If we press next, we can see how that's going to look in preview. Press OK. And here we're going to see what our finished design looks like. It looks kind of crazy with that stipple fill, but always remember you could go into your stipple fill. We could change it to the lowest setting. Let's see if that looks any better, which is still gonna look kind of crazy. And let's check it out. All right, now that looks a little bit better, but it's still kind of weird. I'm gonna press return, press cancel. I want you to remember this. If you draw, for example, using your paintbrush, since this bottom red design looks a lot like a pencil tool, it's very easy to use the wrong notepad here and then select, whatever color you want, press OK, press your fill tool, and then touch this design. And you're like, well, why isn't it changing? Because remember, you're using the fill tool under the line properties box, and this is your paintbrush right here in red under the region properties. So if I touch the paintbrush right here, that did change. Now I'm going to change the color so you can see that a little bit better. I'm going to make it black so you can actually see that change. And I'll press OK. And you know what? Before I go any further, I'm going to make that a solid fill. And then I will press the fill tool right here under the region properties, and I will touch that paintbrush. So that turned black. If I try to touch the pencil tool right here, notice how it's just filling in because you have the fill tool in your region's properties box highlighted. So if you wanted to change the line property of this first one that was done with the pencil, you will have to go into your fill tool here, then touch this line. And that line will change. Now, not all of them may change, so I'm going to have to go around on this particular design and touch each one. So don't confuse the paintbrush, which is a region property, with your pencil tool, which is a line property. And when you use your fill tool on both of them, you just have to remember, like I said, which one you're using, because that can get confusing. All right, so I'm going to do all clear. And I am just going to do some quick drawing on here. Just do some ease. All right, now the eraser tool right here. When I press the eraser, I have different sizes of erasers in which I can do my erasing. And also I can do it in a square and a circle. So I'm just going to select the large circle. That is good for doing larger areas. If you have to fine tune it, sometimes if you have to magnify an area a lot, and let's say I'll go over to this tip. Maybe I am going over to erase this area right here. This large circle now is almost too big. So if you get into really tricky situations where you need to delete pixel by pixel, what I would do is go back into your eraser tool, select either the small square or the small circle, and then make sure you have that eraser selected, and then go in and it makes your eraser a lot smaller. So this is going to be really important when we get into scanning and we're cleaning up scans that we want to digitize. So I want you to play around with your paintbrush tool and practice applying different, like the stipple, the solid color, and some of the fancy fills. Use your paintbrush tool and see how it goes. And then you always want to, try using your eraser, using the different sizes so you become familiar with that. I'm at 800%. Remember, this is magnification. It will show what is magnified in this red box up here. And if I go back down, again, a larger area in magnification because now we're only at 200%. And then bring it back down to 100%. So this screen right here then will be the same as this one right here. Last but not least, we're going to be saving a design. So I'm going to press all clear, press OK. I'm just going to create a simple design with my shapes tool right here. And I will choose the flower, press OK. I will choose another flower. Let's see if I can just copy that. And then I will reduce the size. And I'll go down so one flower fits in the other flower. And it doesn't really matter what size I have. I just want to show you how this is going to work out. I'll press OK. And now I'm just going to apply a solid fill in that center flower. So I'm working with the region. I'm going to go to my notepad. Maybe I'll fill it pink and a solid satin fill. And I'll press OK. And I will use my paintbrush in region properties and just touch the center of that flower. Now I'm going to add a special pattern fill on the outside. So again, working with a region, press my notepad, go into my special pattern fills, press select, and let's see, which one should I choose? I'm going to choose what looks like stained glass, press OK. And I will choose maybe a different color here. Maybe I'll choose, not orange, but the lavender purple. Press OK. Press your fill tool if it's not already highlighted, and press what's outside of that small circle, but inside the area inside of that, not the circle, but the flower, inside that larger flower. All right, so let's say we have a design, and like this is just a practice design, and we want to save it. Right here, this little pocket with the red arrow going in, you want to press this icon right here, and then you decide where to save it. Now this is just simple. So you could save to a USB. I'm just going to save right to my machine. And it's really important to save it in My Design Center or IQ Designer, because if you want to go back and make some changes, change colors around or change pattern fills, you must save it in this module. Once you go to embroidery, you can't make any changes. So let's say we're going to go to embroidery, because I do have that saved. Press next and press preview. And then it's going to do processing. And this is a larger design, so it might take a little longer to process. There we go. Remember, it defaults to that satin stitch outline. That's fine. And you still have one more chance to save it into the pocket. I already did, so now I'm going to press set and then press OK. It gives you a little warning there because you're going to convert the design to an embroidery pattern. Press OK. And there you go. Now you are in the embroidery module of the machine. If you want, you could press edit end and then save it into memory again. And the reason why is because the IQ Designer or My Design Center saves it in a different format. So if you don't save it in that first format and then you convert it to an embroidery design, you can't take this design and go back and make modifications like changing the pattern fill. So I like to save it in both IQ Designer and as an embroidery PES file, which it is right now, before I start embroidering the design. All right, you guys, that is it. And I want you to practice, and I'll see you in the next video.